Hi folks, Chris here. Today I want to introduce the 2-5-1 chord progression. So what is the 2-5-1? Well, it's any chord progression or section of a chord progression that uses chords built off the second note in the scale, the fifth note in the scale, and then the first note in the scale, or the root or tonic. So for example, in the key of C, we'd have a D chord, a G chord, and then a C chord. It can go up like that or down like this. D, G, C. So that's the basic tonality of a 2-5-1. Now obviously we're using chords. So the second chord is a minor chord. The fifth chord is a major chord or a dominant chord. And the first chord is a major chord again. Now you can have a minor 2-5-1 of course, but today I'm just going to use the major 2-5-1 as an example. So you can use this as a simple chord progression using basic triad chords. So something like this. And that was used quite a lot back in the 50s in doo-wop and so on. But it's most commonly found in jazz. Now jazz typically uses seventh chords. So remember, we can build chords by taking every second note in a scale. So if we start on the first note of the scale, for example, we get the first, the third, the fifth. That's our basic major triad. And if we keep going, we get the seventh, hence seventh chords. So if you take every second note in a scale up to 4 notes, you get a seventh chord. Now, if we do that in a major scale, that will give us on the second chord, the 2 of the 2-5-1, we will get a minor seventh chord. That sounds like this. That's a minor triad with a flat seventh on top. Now the fifth chord is a dominant seventh chord. So that's a 1, a major third, a fifth, and a flat seventh. It sounds like this. And our 1 chord is a major seventh chord. So that's a 1, a major third, a fifth, and a natural seventh. It sounds like this. The 1 chord is often replaced by, for example, a 6-9 or just a regular major triad, but in this case I'm going to use the major seventh. So a jazz voicing of the 2-5-1 might sound something like this. Or if we go down, something like this. Now you can play the entire major scale over this and it will sound fine. So if I play my loop again and I'll just play the major scale, and you'll hear that basically anything sounds okay. In jazz though, it's more common to play around each chord as it's being played. That's called playing the changes. And that would be based around arpeggios. So the basic structure would sound something like this. Now, obviously you would embellish those, play inside and outside notes, or all that jazz as it were, but that should give you a basic idea of the structure. Now, one final piece of terminology for you. The 251 often serves the purpose of what's called a turnaround. That is, at the end of a section of a song, the 251 will be used to get back to the root chord of the song. So you might have a sequence of different chord changes going on for 8 or 16 bars or something, and then just in the final 1 or 2 bars, you'll find a 251 to bring you back to the root chord where you can start again. So for example, in a jazz style 12-bar blues, you might have something like this. So the 251 was at the end there. In that case, the 1 chord was replaced with a dominant 7th chord, but you get the idea. So hopefully that's introduced some of you to a new concept, or maybe something that you've heard of but weren't quite sure what it was. If you've got any questions about the 251 or anything else, leave them in the comments below. Please like and subscribe if you can. It really helps to get the video out to more people, and I'll see you in the next one.